And then the last thing I would like to update you on is the Township Treasurer. We'll be working one more year with the current software package, which is DCR. They're in the works of negotiating a contract to move to Infinite Visions with a go-live date of 7/1/19. So DCR would be kind of phased out after a year. With it, it was going to their board meeting tonight at the Township Treasurer's to see if it would pass and what the whole process would be with training, implementation, and then obviously we would need to know what the cost is to the districts.
So we will see an increased cost.
There will be an increase in cost.
We had some of the districts that are part of the LADC, that are part of the Alliance Township Treasurer's Office, they went to Infinite Visions. There was an increase in cost. The business managers are happy with it. I did talk with the superintendent. Online reporting, a lot easier to do spreadsheets, query data. Financial reports are a lot easier than the old version of DCR, but I think our treasurer is retiring. That's probably why we want one other year of DCR. Is that right, or is that this
Maybe they
for an
want
implementation phase?
Get to like the 30th anniversary of this antiquated system or something.
Yeah.
It's actually a very intense training that they set for the districts. I know at my previous district, I was going through the conversion, and it was actually a year-long process to convert with it. And staff members who are involved in this could be out of the building for multiple days.
One thing I would say with any data system changeover is please make note or have them both running dually.
They will be
So
for
every-
roughly 6 months.
And even if the ladies need to print extra reports and file them, just because sometimes those systems don't sync and we don't want to have numbers with money being off.
No, I
So
understand.
this way we'll have printouts from DCR saying, wait, our June for DCR was this, Infinite Visions is showing this, as we move forward.
So could you explain something to them? Why are they voting on the contract today and then sharing the cost information with the districts after they vote?
The way that it worked is districts would be able to get different packages. So they're bidding it out and getting cost on your 3 main packages. There's other packages that are out there that could be tailored to specific districts. And if you would want that, the cost would be additional.
But I mean, the biggest cost is going to be buying and converting to the new system, right?
Yes.
So what if it's $10 million?
It's not $10 million.
What if it's $1 million?
So
Then we're stuck with paying what our share is, which would be like $100,000 or $150,000, and we have nothing to say about it. Plus, you can't have any degree of confidence that this treasurer's office can actually convert to a new system, can you? In a year or whatever it takes.
I guess it's, Mr. Walsh is saying is we're blind to their whole
They gave you a process.
contract, going out there and bidding the contract and seeing how reasonable that price is compared to what other districts have,
They
have
took you on
expended on
site
it.
visits and they took
we
you
did multiple
seeing
site
different-
visits.
Right, but from a standpoint of what they're actually going to contract for versus did they go out and compare it? You said the LATSI group had just converted over. What was their cost to implement? What was their cost versus what this treasurer's going
Like
to
Tim's saying,
contract
it will
into?
be,
It'll
I would
be-
imagine 50 to 100.
And Infinite Visions, that's what all the other treasurers are converting to.
Understood.
So-
It sounds like it's a much better package. It's going to give you a lot more flexibility in reporting.
There can't
It's
be
just
a
that
worse
we're. It's just that they're embarking on an expenditure on behalf of our district. What else? We're being blind to seeing the cost.
No,
Or what process they are to make sure that they are negotiating the best possible price.
I'm sure they had to go through a bid process.
They
so
did.
you just asked to see a copy of the bid.
But I got to
The
tell you,
RFP.
LATSI, we usually, you're on the board of LATSI.
Correct.
Usually, we might disagree with something around the corners, but they seem to know what they're doing. I got to tell you right now, I have no degree of confidence that that treasurer's office can convert into a new system regardless of how much we pay for it. I mean, every time we've asked them to do, they claimed they could give us different reports. Remember, they came here and claimed, and when you asked them, that was probably right before
Before he
Scott
got
was
here.
here.
Before Scott got here.
For months, they said they'd do it. They didn't give us one different report. Then they said they couldn't do it. So you know, you're taking people who are barely can do with this old 30-year-old system that's just absolute piece of garbage, and telling me we're going to pay some significant amount of money for them to convert it, and you know, there's no confidence that they can convert it. I mean, do they have people who have those kind of skills to convert a accounting system at the treasurer's office?
Yes.
They do?
I'm assuming, Scott, before you answer, I think they're gonna be bringing in consultants.
Yeah.
And-
Which that means it'll
It's-
cost more.
Right, and as much as we voiced our opinion and wanted to be a part of the process, at the end of the day, the treasurer's gonna make the final decision. We're one of 14 or one of 16 votes.
Well, you.
But that's why I asked.
You
Scott.
heard, you see this board's concern
Right,
about
absolutely.
what we think about the treasurer's office. So as this rolls out, there's gonna be a lot of burden on your shoulders to make sure that this thing gets implemented correctly.
No, I,
So be aware of that.
no, I understand.
And we did some talking with other business managers to make sure we were all on the same page, right? When you went to some of these site visits and we're looking at different programs, so that at least, because the original recommendation was that they think DCR can still do the job going forward. Was that not? They wanted to keep DCR.
It was it's a very viable option. That's what I
So we
was
got
told.
them to at least realize they needed to go to a web-based program that, so there was some talking with other business managers and trying to get this to move forward. You're right, Tim, level of confidence is low, but
So I guess we're also asking you to be
just be hands-on.
hands-on into their whole setup of their conversion process, understanding what they're committing themselves to be involved with, what their people are gonna work on, and to make sure that that you think their implementation process is a sound one. Because it's gonna come back to you when we're sitting at a board meeting here and saying, I can't, and you're gonna tell us we can't get numbers because treasurer screwed up, and we're gonna go back to you and say, well, how hands-on were you with the treasurer's office?
Nope, I understand.
Okay.
Scott, are there any business managers that are kind of sitting in your chair that you can work with, that you can form kind of almost like a mini team or something, that, so you're not doing this completely all on your own self?
I mean, it's the entire treasurer's office will be doing the conversion together.
Right.
So we'll all be at the trainings together. The way that I'm viewing this would be is that it probably would be split up between the high school districts and the elementaries, because obviously you got different needs that you're going to have with it. But there will be people going through the exact same training. There's other schools that have converted that I can call and get answers for. Like you said, with the LaGrange area one converting, it's just a phone call away.
All the township treasurers that are in Cook County, which is the only county that has township treasurers
Are
left,
with Infinite Visions.
are all doing Infinite Visions. So your group that you work with out of Southwest, you should be able to use them as a reference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have some references that you can use besides our township office to
Yes.
help you and our staff.
There's plenty of people out there that have it, and
And are you putting something in the budget then? Well, I guess it's the next, not
It would
next
be-
It would be FY '20.
Well, you gotta, if they're gonna convert it as of 1/7/1 of 19, you gotta be doing some of the work to prepare for that.
it will be training with it, and we'll have to see what the costs are that they want for year one with it.
Yeah, I would also sit back and assess what kind of additional burden it's gonna put on your personnel
Yeah.
also. And then, to consider that, because you're gonna have additional, if your staff is gonna have to double work or, double print and what have you.
Right.
Come up with what you anticipate how much of a burden that is on your staff.
No, I understand, and my biggest concern is just being away from their day-to-day stuff, having to
Understood.
go through the training.
Understood.
You wanna take a drink of water before you get into your projections? Are you all right?
Oh,
We're all right.
Okay.